Good morning. This is Mark Soderberg with ADM Investor Services with your morning ag outlook for Tuesday, July 23rd. Mostly lower trade here in the overnight session. Corn right now is steady to a penny lower, down 2 in the August beans. The new crop contracts are steady to about a penny better. Not much change in the products as well, steady to about $1 lower in the meal. Oil prices are down in the nearby contract, steady to a touch higher here in the back months. And wheat prices are lower across all three classes right now, down about 6 to 9 cents, very close to session lows. Yesterday, speculative traders were believed to have been pretty big buyers across the ag space, 12,000 contracts in corn, 11,000 beans, and 3,000 to 5,000 in the products and in wheat. Still pretty heavily short in corn and beans, however, now a touch off the records outlined in recent CFTC reports. Despite the heavy fund buying, open interest did not decline much, and in fact, it increased in corn, bean oil, and in Chicago wheat, perhaps some suggesting some indication of some end user pricing as well. Not much change in U.S. weather forecast from yesterday. Very little rain is expected in the western corn belt over the next 7 days. Heavy rains along the Gulf Coast and in the southeast, with just scattered amounts in the north central Midwest and the eastern corn belt. Heat is building across the northern plains and the western corn belt middle part of this week. Mild temperatures, a few more days here across the central Midwest before the above normal temperatures slide into the central and eastern corn belts as well. We will definitely need to see some follow-up rains across the Midwest, in particular the western corn belt, by early August in order to realize the full yield potential. Crop conditions yesterday saw a 1% drop in corn ratings to 67% good to excellent. There's a 1% shift from good to poor. Expectations were for conditions to hold steady. 61% of the crop is silking. That is at or slightly above the historical averages. 17% of the crop is in the dough stage versus 13% a year ago and 11% 5-year average. Crop progress in the northwestern belt remains behind normal, with the Dakotas and Minnesota all behind their historical averages. So perhaps some heat this week will help accelerate crop development in this region. Bean conditions held steady at 68% good to excellent. Both corn and soybean ratings do remain at their best levels since 2020. 65% of the U.S. bean crop is blooming, 29% is setting pods. They're both slightly behind the year-ago pace, however, ahead of the 5-year averages. Winter wheat harvest has slowed down, advancing only 5% last week to 76% complete, however, above both a year ago and the 5-year average. Not much change in the spring wheat ratings, with 77% of the crop still in good to excellent shape, the highest since 2018. Some cooling in and around the Black Sea region this week, however. It appears that rains will only be scattered at best and not expected to provide much significant relief from recent drought conditions. Sav Econ this morning did, however, raise their Russian grain production forecast by just over 3 million metric tons to 130.5. However, little of this was wheat, however. They did raise that forecast 0.1 million metric tons to 84.3, just above the USDA's 83 million metric ton estimate. Corn prices continue to chop around in the $3.90 to $4 range in spot September, about $4 to $4.16 for D's. Still looking for better export demand and perhaps some lower expectations on record yields to induce more of a short covering bounce. New highs for the recent move here overnight in the bean market before stalling out a bit. Both the 6 to 10 and 8 to 14 day forecasts do hold above normal temperatures and precipitation for much of the nation's midsection as we move into early August. So that seems to have capped gains here. Minneapolis wheat has been the recent leader here as hot, dry conditions in the northern plains. We do have a spring wheat tour this week, so we'll be looking for confirmation of record yields here as forecast by the USDA. Thank you for listening, everyone. Have a great day.